I guess you can turn off the heater. It's rain snow mix outside, and it is May 5th, and it's kind of crazy because rain snow mix in May is normal, but not for the winter that Colorado had.
No.
And so it's like kind of cold out today.
Yeah, it's been like 80 in February and March and April. And now we have snow and
there's snow on the ground.
Which is normal because I feel like every one of Daphne's graduation parties has been.
Don't.
Your parties. I didn't say about your graduation.
No, it's the graduation. It's not the party.
Well, just
the
in general.
The graduation has been snowy. The party hasn't. Yeah, I graduate next week. I'll be a master if nothing.
That's not true. You'll be a master of things.
I'll have a master's degree. Also, per usual, excuse if you can hear any noises in the background. Amira is out here with us today because I love her and miss her. And then I walked out here and my cat, who I haven't seen in like a year, is out here because she chooses to be an outdoor cat. And then all of a sudden she was curled up in my office.
Because it's cold and snowy.
Because it's cold and snowy. So she's here too. And Amira thinks it's a good idea to try to test the cat who hates dogs. So pardon any noises you may hear coming from the background.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of Colorado, today's Colorado crazy laws.
Nice.
Yep.
We've been waiting for it, us Coloradans.
Yep.
To know what we've been doing illegally.
Or legally. It's allowed. It's not allowed to ride a horse while drunk on the highway.
That's probably a good plan to not be able to do that.
You can get a DUI for doing it with a horse,
Sounds
which is great.
So
actually,
fucking dangerous.
I think that's a good idea that you should get a DUI.
I feel more concerned for the horse.
Exactly. Duh.
Yeah.
There's dandelion limits in Pueblo. They take their yard. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because what's a dandelion limit?
You can't have your dandelion or other weeds grow taller than 10 inches. And that's because of property value. They really want Pueblo neighborhoods to look very nice, which if you're in Pueblo, I apologize, but Pueblo is not the nicest area of Colorado. So it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, and what do you go out there with a fucking ruler?
Right.
And also dandelions help bees. So
dandelions are also a natural medicine. That's why they're illegal. In Boulder, it's illegal to keep upholstered furniture like couches or mattresses outdoors. And that's because they're afraid people are going to set them on fire. Well, and that's fair. I went to college in Boulder. So my undergrad degree came from Boulder. I understand why that's a law. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I bet it happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's couches outside everywhere. So I'm confused why people aren't. I mean, maybe they're getting citations and they just don't care.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of shit on people's lawns. Snowball bans. In Aspen and in Severance, the law got overturned recently. But in Aspen and in Severance, both it's illegal to throw snowballs. And that's then lame. In Severance, a 9-year-old boy lobbied for them to become legal because he was like, we can't play outside and not throw snowballs.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's just not a thing. So that's kind of funny.
That is. And he got it overturned or he got that law reversed. Yeah. Awesome. Good for you, little Jimmy.
Yep. Right.
Or Timmy.
Jimmy.
Or Johnny.
In Sterling, an old ordinance supposedly required cats to be outfitted with cats have to have lights on them, like a collar that's reflective or something like that for visibility.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But make sure they have a breakaway collar so in case they get hung up on something, they can...
It's to prevent them getting hit by cars.
No, I understand.
Which is weird, but cool. I mean, it's a great law, in my opinion. But
yeah,
they have to be a breakaway collar.
Yeah.
It's illegal to go into any of our state parks here and fuck up rocks.
Good.
Which is a good law. I like that law.
I like that law.
I like that law a lot. No kissing on platforms in Denver.
What the fuck?
At Union Station, you're not allowed to extensively kiss.
Okay.
Because it would slow down train departures.
Oh, okay. Like the train's not leaving without you if you are standing there making out. The train's leaving.
Right. Okay, this is a cool one. This is a really cool law here. That's only, well, I guess it's not, I don't know if it's only here. We haven't gone down the list completely, obviously, yet.
We're only on the seas.
It's legal in Colorado, you know, those little signs that are on your mattresses and that are on your
pillows.
Yeah, that says it's illegal to remove this tag.
Uh-huh.
In Colorado, you can legally remove those tags.
Oh, good.
I wonder why that's a law in the first place. Like, why did anyone say, oh, no, you have to keep it on there.
I know. And I can't remember, there's a movie where somebody is trying to catch somebody for something and like they're not really a cop. I can't even fucking remember. But they go in and they're like, I'm the mattress police. And I see that you've removed the tags.
Right.
Like, oh.
I'm the mattress police.
No, legit. It's a movie.
Oh, that's funny. I have some other ones off of this list. It's illegal to throw missiles at cars. I can get down with that. At least within city limits.
Yeah.
It's punishable by law to let a llama in Boulder graze on any public property.
Oh, it's in the movie Fletch.
Oh.
Which I made you watch not too long ago.
Yeah.
With Chevy Chase.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's
I don't
pretty
remember
funny.
that part of it. It is unlawful to bring your horse or mule I'm having a hard time today. Wait, what? It is unlawful to bring your horse or pack mule higher than the ground floor of any building.
That's good.
Yeah, it seems cruel. Okay, this says it's a law on this law website, but then Google's saying it's a myth, that it's not really a law. So I don't know if it's a law or not about you can't let your neighbor borrow your vacuum cleaner.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Except for it probably starts neighbor disputes.
There's no car sales on Sundays.
That's true. The Colorado Blue laws.
Yep.
There used to be no liquor sales and no car sales, but they overturned the liquor thing.
Yeah, the car sales are because so everyone's guaranteed a day off, and then you don't, your competitor across the street's not selling, and
your people are off.
Yeah. Exactly. The dog catcher must serve all dogs notice of impounding for 3 consecutive days in a public place. So if you're going to go take and impound a dog, you have to give them 3 days notice. It's like, hey, by the way, I'm taking your ass.
In 3 days.
I have seen this before, which is just crazy to me. I don't know. You're not allowed to drive a black car in Denver on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, huh? Okay. Odd.
Pretty sure I've seen black cars in Denver on Sundays.
Yep.
Most likely I have.
I'm sure. I mean, everywhere there's black cars. That's why I'm like, I don't know how you don't have a black car in Denver. Don't get lost in Westminster or allow anyone to get lost while driving your car. Both are illegal between 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. Oh, yeah, this one's crazy, and then this will be our last. For a long time in Louisville, you weren't allowed to have chickens, but you could have turkeys.
Weird.
Yeah. I think it's been overturned now, but you could have 3 turkeys, but you couldn't have any chickens.
Weird.
Yeah, very odd.
Yeah.
Okay, what you got for us today, lady?
Okay, I have a haunting because we've been doing a lot of heavy stuff, and so a haunting.
So you said let's do a haunting instead.
So this is the island of Poveglia. Poveglia.
You didn't even look up how to say it?
No, I did, and I even put it in phonetics, and I still can't say it.
Jeez.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and it's also going to be short because it is a haunting. So the island of...
Nice. I think people like the mix of short and longs.
Maybe.
Or they're just like, make them all short.
Right. The island of...
Summarize this. We didn't need to know she was wearing a purple dress and that got blood splatter on it.
Yes, we did.
I'm just kidding. I care.
The island of Poveglia is one of the most haunted places in the whole entire world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's sometimes referred to as the island of no return, and it is located in the Venetian Lagoon, which is right outside of Venice. It's like between Venice and some other city that I can't pronounce, so I didn't put it. But it's, yeah, in the Venetian Lagoon.
Do people live there?
It is currently abandoned, and it is closed off.
Sorry, I'm like asking questions as you're, which is great that you framed it as you knew I was going to ask.
Yep. And it's abandoned, closed, and off limits to the public. And trespassing is illegal, and it's enforced by the Italian government because of the overall safety concerns, mostly due to the structures on the island that are in disrepair. And there are no authorized tours for visitors at all, which sucks because I was like, oh, I wonder if you could get like a permit to do a tour or something, but it doesn't seem as though you can.
If there's tours that go through there?
Yeah, there's not.
But then how do we know it's haunted?
Because people have gone there and been there and done stuff.
It was not always uninhabited?
Correct. In the 9th century, the island was used
800? 9th century, 800? Not the 18, just the 8s.
The 8s. Straight 8.
Okay, sorry.
Math.
My brain does that. I'm like, I need to know the years because of that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I just didn't look up the years.
In the 9th century or the 800s.
Yes. In the 9th century, the island was used as a port by the Roman Empire, but only for a short period of time. In 1379, after Venice was attacked by a Genoan fleet, the people who lived on the island were moved to Giudecca. So that's when it became no longer a place where people lived.
Okay.
Because I think it was just too, what's the word I'm looking for? It was too unprotected.
Desolate?
No, it was just too unprotected. It was just like too easy for people to fuck up people if they were there. You know what I mean?
Okay. I have to tell you something crazy. Sorry, side rant. Game of Thrones people. I was listening to something yesterday when you were saying about the Romans, that it was inhabited by the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Roman guy that was abducted and taken somewhere else. And I don't know if somewhere else that was a different other empire. And his name was Valerian. And, you know, Valerian, like the Valyria people of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was, wherever he was taken in prisoner, he was trying to bargain with the emperor wherever he was at. And they were like, whoa, like, I don't know who this guy is, thinking he's like good enough to bargain with us. And so they poured molten lava down his throat.
Oh my God.
And through all of his like organs, obviously, are like covered now in molten lava. Like he dies, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting listening to that and making that connection to Game of Thrones, that the brother, Daenerys' brother in the first season, I can't remember his name, but he's also Valyrian, right? They're Targaryens, they're High Valyria, whatever. But that they poured that gold on his head, that molten gold, and killed him because they were trying to give him his own crown, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting.
It is interesting
that.
it's some of it is historical, based on historical fact.
Yeah.
In the 1570s and the 1630s, the island was used as a dumping ground for the victims of plague and for the corpses who had died from the plague.
Wait, I have heard of this place. I don't know any of the hauntings about it, but yeah, I have heard about this island that was just used as a dumping ground. And so, like, I'm sure you can talk about it, but the soil there.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's true or not. So I didn't even include that. It said that the 50% of the soil was ash.
I've heard more than that, it's human remains. Yeah.
I'm sure the human remains part, yeah, but the ash part, I don't know about. It was used as a dumping ground for victims of the plague and the corpses who had died from the plague also. So the living were exiled to die there. And
if they had the plague.
And the corpses were brought there, and people who died there were buried in mass pits or burned until their corpses were just ash. So in 1776 and 1777, the island became a quarantine station and plague checkpoint. The island became managed by the authority of the Venice Public Health Office. And in 1793, after several cases of plague were found on ships, the island was officially transformed into a temporary confinement station, which Napoleon made permanent in 1805. But then it was closed for that purpose in 1814. Okay. So for all those years, people were dumping bodies, and then it became a quarantine station. And so like for 200, 300 years, from 1570s until the 1800s. Napoleon's troops also used the island to store military weapons, ammunition, equipment, and other supplies. And some battles had been fought on the island as well. So people died in those battles that were fought on the island. Between the multiple plague outbreaks, it is estimated that a combined total of over 100,000 to 160,000 people were buried or burned on the island after dying on the island or having been sent to the island already dead from the plague. So corpses, people living, blah, blah. Okay?
That sucks.
The conditions on the island were...
Sucks for the people that have to go burn these bodies and get re-exposed through the airborne pathogens.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sucks. No, sorry. I had to ask you if that was for the people that were suspected of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why are they just sending people there then? Otherwise, if they don't think that they have it, then it's like...
No, if they think
sending
they
them
have
to a
it,
certain
but
death.
they don't know for sure. But they're like, oh, you coughed, so you're fucking going over there.
Right.
You know?
You sneezed, you're possessed.
Yeah, exactly. So the conditions on the island weren't good, as you can imagine. The dying exiles were sent to live in the existing buildings that were on the island, including former military barracks from Napoleon's group and the Roman Empire. So like we're talking old ass shit that's like obviously not been maintained, right? And they were living in overcrowded conditions that caused the disease to spread more rapidly. And there was an extreme lack of sanitation. And within the buildings, there was basically no ventilation. So if you were just suspected of having the plague and were sent there to quarantine, you most likely would end up with the plague because of the conditions. And if you didn't end up with the plague, you would probably die from starvation because of the extremely limited resources on the island. And I can't even fucking imagine living like that. Whether you're dying or not, you know?
Just bodies all around.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're not sick and you're like, well, fuck, but now I'm going to die anyway because I'm here with all these fucking
that's
sick
what
people.
I was saying. Like, they're literally, regardless if they're sick or not, sending these people to a certain death.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and they're
They're going to get sick now at this point.
Or starve to death.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Who's there managing this?
Nobody's managing it. So,
well, then how are people getting there?
Well, the government from the 1570s until the 1800s, that's collectively when people are being sent there as corpses or as sick people. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So it'd be total shit. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that sounds gross.
Yeah. And then on top of that,
I shouldn't be rude and say that sounds gross, but I mean, obviously it's not ideal.
No, it sounds awful. It sounds awful. And on top of plague and stuff, then you have vampires. So that's not cool.
What do you mean?
I mean that grave diggers on Poveglia who already had a super fucking great job, right?
Yeah.
They're grave diggers of all these sick people and already dead people. They thought that they were dealing with vampires because as more and more people died from the plague, the graves would be reopened. The mass graves would be reopened to add more corpses. And the grave diggers would see these bloated bodies with dark fluid coming from their mouths, which they thought was blood.
So they're just decomposing?
Yeah. So they thought that was blood and that they were the undead feeding on bodies inside of the mass graves.
Oh.
So then the grave diggers would then shove a large stone or brick into the mouths of the corpses to prevent them from eating their way out and spreading more plague.
Huh.
Yeah. So grave diggers.
I wonder if that's why it's not public today, because they're afraid of like it being like the plague coming back if people go there.
It's just because it's dangerous. They just said safety. Like all the buildings are just fucking falling apart and shit. So
yeah, well, that happens everywhere.
It does. But if it's totally rebuild it, if it's totally and completely unmaintained, it's really unsafe. You know.
Yeah.
So the grave diggers knew about the immediate postmortem changes, like body temperature dropping, rigor mortis, those kind of things, right? So they get cold, they get stiff, but they didn't understand the next level of internal decaying of the body and that the rigor mortis subsides and the bodies are no longer stiff. So it gives the appearance that the bodies have been moving. And then the skin also loosens away from the bones and muscles and tissue. And it looks like the finger and toenails are still growing, which they're not. And then the internal gases start to build up and they bloat the abdomen. And then the purge fluid, which is the decaying fluid from the intestinal tract, leaks out of the nose and mouth.
Ew.
Yeah. So, of course,
I shouldn't be so rude. It's natural, but ew. That's why I could never be a doctor, scientist, or anything of that nature. I don't like human things. Like, I can't even fucking watch The Exorcist, like the back popping. No. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Blood. Get out of here.
So, of course, the grave diggers are like, oh, it's only common sense. We've got vampires. What else can it be? Like,
here's the vamps.
There's nothing else it could be, right?
Just Klaus Michelson, the originals.
Right. So plague is wiping out the human population and at the same time contributing to the increase in the vampire population. And you're on this fucking isolated island in the middle of it all, digging graves and fucking dealing with vampires and dead people. So, yeah.
So are they sick too, the grave diggers?
I'm sure some of them were. I mean, they had to have, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, who's managing? I mean, if they're being paid to do this job.
And then they're dead. And someone else steps up and takes the job. So, yeah.
Crazy.
I'm sure they had to be, right?
Chaotic.
And then who was getting killed by the vampires? I mean, there's also that.
Right.
So
I don't see any new victims around here.
Yeah. So like archaeologists, when they're digging up bodies, not only
They find bodies with rocks in the mouths. They're probably like, what the fuck?
So yeah, not only
What in the satanic were these people into?
not only on Poveglia, but like in other islands and other like mass graves and stuff like that they were seeing this. And of course, it's documented that it's to prevent vampires. I forget what they called them. They called them something else that was like, it was a German word. And I didn't want to go into the whole history.
Yep, thank you.
No, I just didn't want to go into the whole history of all that,
anyway.
Yeah. So then in 1922, a psychiatric hospital was built on the island to isolate the mentally ill from the main city of Venice, because of course we want to hide our mentally ill people.
Mm-hmm.
The hospital closed in 1968, but there are countless reports of inhumane treatment of the patients that were in that mental institution or mental hospital.
Shocker.
Cases of abuse, neglect, and barbaric medical procedures performed on these patients. Included in the reports are instances of people being beaten, restrained, and left in solitary confinement for really long periods of time. Records also exist of patients being subjected to electroconvulsive therapy, which is sending an electrical current through your brain, causing a surge of electrical activity in your brain, which basically is actually a seizure. And lobotomies and other experimental procedures were also performed on the patients, all in the name of mental health treatment. And there are records of this because they're trying to they're documenting what they're doing as well as the outcome. Right. So like, it's like, okay, well, we did this and this. And
yeah, that's an experiment.
Yeah. Did it work? Did it not work? Whatever.
Right. Did literal observations an experiment.
Yes, exactly. So according to legends, but there's no hard facts. Also, of course, there was a doctor in the 1930s at the hospital who performed bizarre experiments and brutal lobotomies on patients. And as a result of his cruelty, some of the patients died. And of course, naturally, the spirits of his victims are going to torture him in their afterlife. And so then he went insane and he jumped from the bell tower, and a nurse allegedly witnessed him jump from the bell tower, and a black mist suffocated him after he survived the fall.
Jeez.
But he did not survive the black mist, or he just jumped and fell to his death, or none of that happened.
Or this doctor never even existed and it was just all nice rainbows and sunshine.
Right. Well, I think the doctor...
Amazing lobotomies.
I think the doctor existed, but I don't know about,
amazing human testing was going on there.
Amazing.
And everyone was given lollipops at the end.
And sunshine.
And rainbows. And unicorns. And they'll all be happy.
Yes, forever and ever.
Or it was grim doom and gloom torture.
Well, I think the doom and gloom torture is pretty documented. And I think, the fact that there are quote unquote mad scientists, evil doctors, whatever you want to call them, they were there.
Well,
but
yeah,
we don't know if he really was tormented by the souls of his tortured dead patients.
Right.
But one can only assume that that's probably right.
Probably. It's probably true.
Yeah. Most likely.
Supernatural. All roads lead back to Supernatural.
All roads lead back to Supernatural. You jump from a bell tower, you don't die, but then a black mist comes and chokes you out.
Yep. It's like that one episode of Supernatural. Who is it? Is it Ellen? I know Bobby's ghost is there, but is Ellen's ghost also there? And they're in that haunted house together with all those other ghosts. And the one ghost is like so powerful and keeps killing the other ghosts. It's like reversed. It's like these ghosts are torturing that ghost now.
Right.
Because they sent him in the black mist, and then they're like, we got you for all the afterlife.
Yep, they can torture him forever and ever.
You want your 3 o'clock lobotomy now? I realize it's 2:55.
We can get started on that early. And we'll also start your electroconvulsive shock therapy.
Yes,
How about that?
exactly.
How about that?
How about that?
While we have the fucking lobotomy ice pick in your fucking tear duct. The bell was removed from the tower after the mental hospital closed in 1968, but it is said that locals and people passing by on boats still hear the bell ringing at night, even though it's not there anymore. And visitors, which I'm like, if you can't go there, how are there visitors? But there are. So visitors...
People break into places.
Visitors and workers on the island, because they've had people go and like clean out stuff and like do stuff, but not like on a huge scale, obviously. So visitors and workers on the island report hearing screams, moans, and whispers. And the whispers are said to say, "Leave immediately.
Get out of here.
Which I totally would.
Go.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, bye.
Right, yeah.
Where's my boat?
You're not going to keep me here.
Yeah, you are not. And several apparitions have been seen. There are multiple sightings of a young child who has been named Little Maria, who is searching for her parents who died of the plague. And the first reports of Little Maria go all the way back like 400 years ago. And obviously, she most likely was a victim of the plague also. And she can be seen roaming the beach crying, and it's said to be like heartbreaking.
That sounds really sad.
Yeah, a little girl looking for her mom and dad and crying.
That was like the
episode of Supernatural where...
No, I was going to say we've done a lot of episodes like that.
Yeah.
Where there's like a sad kid. What was that one? You, me or you? One of the two of us, the only two here. Did one where there was a little kid ghost that was having a birthday party every day.
Oh, I think that was that in your Sally house?
No, fuck no. The Sally house is like crazy shit.
Like torturous? No, I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but it was some haunted building, some asylum maybe. I don't know. We've done 100 of them now. It's hard to keep track.
102 or 103 because 102 hasn't come out yet, but this is going to be 103.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track.
It is. My brain pushes out all that old information.
Yeah.
But yeah, the birthday party. I do remember that.
The little girl, or I think it was a little girl ghost that was wearing a white dress. That was.
Oh, you know what it was? It was the...
Nope, you don't
Dakota.
Either.
It was the Dakota in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it?
That was your episode,
Yeah,
though.
It was. That's why it was coming back to me. I'm like, oh, it was the Dakota.
Like, it was one of our episodes. One of the two of us that are here.
Yeah, one of either
Lindsay
one of us.
Lindsay came on for one episode.
Yeah.
And never came back. She said, fuck this.
Right. All right. Ghosts that are tied to the mental hospital are, and of course, they've just named the ghosts. They don't really know who the ghosts are. But there's Pietro, who...
Little Jimmy.
He's holding a sign. Pietro.
Go for Pietro.
That's different. So Pietro is the ghost of a man with amputated legs.
Oh, shit.
Who is seen racing his wheelchair through the hallways of the rotten old building. Right? I know. I'm like,
fuck.
That would be super
laughing.
That would be really scary, but also...
How do you take that seriously?
Wait, what? Huh?
How do you take that shit seriously?
Well, right, except for it's a ghost, and you'd be like, oh, fuck.
Right.
But yes, when you're thinking about it
like,
in your
hey,
head.
You want to race?
Right, basically.
I got a 6 set of wheels.
Yeah, I have no legs, but I'll kick your ass in this fucking wheelchair. And then there's another one that they call Frederico, who grins and he laughs out loud the entire day, which be super freaky. And then there's a young female that is also seen very, very regularly. And she's reported to have a terrifying expression on her face. And the legend has it that she's scared of the doctor who is still performing his twisted experiments on her in the afterlife.
Wow.
Yeah. So, also, and there's a huge pair of eyes that's seen just below the surface of the water, and faces can be seen through the windows of the hospital also. And no, you can enter the hospital through several places, but the easiest way is to crawl in through one of the cremators, which is also the scariest way in, which I can only fucking imagine, right?
Oh my God, no. I would never.
No, I wouldn't either. No. And
I am ballsy. I am not that ballsy.
But obviously people have done it because they've seen these ghosts.
The easiest way in.
Yeah. Well, that and the scariest. And they're like, well, let's do this. And while in the hospital, people claim to see shadowy figures on the wall that follow them as they move throughout the building. And some people report even being scratched and pushed.
Wow.
And there was an episode of Ghost Adventures that was filmed on the island, but I didn't watch it because I didn't.
Because fuck Zach Bagans.
Kind of, yeah, most likely. Because we
love Holly Madison.
Yes.
I love Holly Madison.
I love Holly Madison
and
too.
And he cheated on her.
And who would cheat on Holly Madison?
Right? Literally. She is like the perfect human that has ever existed.
Right.
And it's like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
And she likes true crime.
Yeah.
Our girl.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Who would cheat on Holly Madison? Asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't watch it. Plus, I think,
just goes to show all guys suck. The perfect woman can be cheated on.
Yeah, no kidding. But whatever. I watched her Grinch fries video. I was very intrigued. And then I went on a mission to find the Grinch fries.
And you never got them?
No, I did. I got them one time.
You did? Were they good?
Yeah, they were okay. They weren't
No,
as
that sucks.
amazing as I wanted them to be.
They were like dill pickled, right?
Yeah, well, the fries came separate, and then the dill pickle seasoning came, and then you sprinkled it on and shook up the bag, and then it was all over. So it was okay. It wasn't
Unique experience.
Yeah. And I literally went to like 4 different McDonald's.
I remember. She's
like-
like, I still can't find these fucking Grinch fries.
I know. Like, I went really far from the house to end up getting them. And then I got 2 orders because I was like, well, I'm here. And then, of course, the second one was just cold and icky, and I didn't eat them because they were cold and icky. And I could have put
It's
them.
like, I had one, so I need to get 2.
I could have put them in the air fryer, but I didn't. So,
That's like trying to buy toilet paper in 2020.
basically, exactly the same. Exactly. On a mission for Grinch fries. I hope they do it again this year. That would be dumb if they didn't.
I don't know. I'd have to take the seasoning and try it with a different kind of fry because McDonald's fries are totally cross-contamination for gluten.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you want to hear my funny mental health moment
Sure.
the other day? I was
So
on
you're
my-
calling it a mental health moment that I went on a fucking mission to find Grinch fries?
No, I'm calling that you were talking about mental illnesses and the people getting treated on the island. Well, if I was existing in this time, my chiropractor would have sent me right there. Because the other day we were talking about the gluten thing and that I just have a really hard time and it sucks. And he was like, yeah, but when you don't eat it for long enough, then you eat it and it makes you sick. And you never want to eat it again because it makes you sick and you feel like shit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but I just keep doing it. And he goes, well, that's a mental illness and I can't help you.
At least he was straight with you.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's called mental illness.
That is something I can't help you with. There is no digestive enzyme for that.
right.
People who visit the island feel a heaviness, sadness, or deep dread just being on the island, which I can totally imagine. When I just reading it or looking at pictures of it, it's like, I don't know, I felt like a weight. I really did.
Oh, it's that dark.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it has a dark history.
100,000 to 160,000 corpses are on that freaking island.
Right, that's just from plague times, though, right?
That's a lot.
Not
well,
including the...
No, that's also the mental institution.
Oh,
and
so it's just total.
Yeah, I think so. Because also the Napoleon, the battles that were fought there. So yeah, it's estimated that there's between 100 and 160,000 people.
What plague? Was it the bubonic plague, the rat plague?
That and the Black Plague. Because it was over a period of time. So there was different plagues.
Right.
You know, like basically if you think about it, COVID, the Covis could be considered
COVID-19. I don't think we're allowed to say that. The vid. If we're ever going to monetize. I think that's a trigger word and they won't monetize if you talk about COVID.
Oh, well.
Which is so stupid.
I'll take it out. But I was going to say anyway.
The 2020 ailment.
That would probably be considered a plague.
Yeah.
I would think. But anyway, I'll take all that out then. Fine. Fuck it.
No, we don't monetize anyways.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
That's true.
We're here just because we
Yeah.
like each other enough to keep doing this.
Yeah. We like to have our feelings
Our
hurt
moment.
by other people.
Exactly.
So anyway, yeah.
Lindsay
yeah.
and Casey
So-
would never.
People who visit the island just feel sad and heavy and they also feel like they're being watched or being followed while they're on the island. These are kind of common consensus of feelings that people have on the island. As of 2025, a local Venetian
It's
group
2026.
as of 2025, I don't know what's happened in 2026. This was the most recent information I could find, and I don't want to lie and say as of 2026 because
Okay,
I don't
got
know.
it.
So as of 2025, a local Venetian group manages and leases the island after an attempt in 2014.
Leases it?
Lease-
That it was uninhabited. What are they fucking
It is.
leasing it for?
I'm getting there.
I'm like, what?
What? So
They're leasing it for people to go
for nothing.
scream.
Yeah. So after an attempt in 2014 by a private businessman who wanted to purchase the island for commercial use and like make it into like some big fancy resort and commercialize the island, but the locals didn't want that. So the local group, the association of all of these people got together and they raised money and they were able to secure a 99-year lease that started as of August.
That's going to outlive all of them.
That started as of August 2025 to create a public park and prevent the commercial privatization of the island. And so I don't know what happened between
Not a
2014.
single one of these people are going to be around till 21, 24.
No, but they'll be in between, and then maybe their families take over the lease, or you know what I mean? Like how I got my Bronco tickets for my dad, same thing.
Yeah, but that's like a takeover. It wasn't like your dad was like, I'm signing an indefinite lease.
No, but I mean, it's every year season tickets, and then I had to get willed them. But anyway,
yeah, you better be working on that.
So I don't know what happened between 2014 and 2025, because it was in 2014 when they were able to like stop this guy from buying the island and privatizing it and making it like some rich people's playground. And then, because I was trying to find like more ghost stories and stuff, but basically they're all just the same about the screaming people and the scary people and the racing wheelchair and stuff. But people were saying, so Reddit, a
Little
Reddit thread.
Maria.
Yeah. There was a Reddit thread where people were like, oh, I used to go camping there when I was a teenager. Like we'd take our boat over there and it was so scary and so freaky. And then there was one, like how they say that it's totally policed and whatever, that like they keep you from going to the island and trespassing is a thing. But there was this one guy, it's a blog called The Backpacker or something, The Travel Backpacker. And he was saying that he had no problem getting like a boat taxi to drop him off at the island and pick him up the next day. And he like camped on the beach, but he was just freaked out. He said he didn't see anything or hear anything, but he just was freaked out and he couldn't sleep and he couldn't wait for that fucking guy to come pick him up in the morning.
Well, I think if you know what's there, then yeah. Or know the history of what
But I mean, he wanted
there.
to get haunted, but he didn't.
I mean, you can't argue with energy, right? Like
No.
energy of different we were talking about that yesterday about the vet.
Yeah.
The energy of our old vet versus our new vet is just
Night
and
and day.
fucking day.
Yeah.
And you can't argue energy. And if you can feel that heaviness there, whether you get haunted or not, like it's still
Right.
the heaviness still exists in the air.
Exactly.
You said you could even
and you
sense
know
it through
what
the
happened
pictures.
there. And you know what happened there.
Yeah, he sought it out.
Yeah. So there's there was more like Reddit threads. So there was the one that was talking about like camping on the island and like being out there with their friends, just going out there to like get stoned and like sleep and get into the mental institution and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Through the crematorium.
Through that. But then there was some other guy that went on there. It was so
nuts.
stupid. He's like, only 8 people have ever been buried on that island. It's so full of shit. That's such a full of shit thing. Blah, blah, blah. And then somebody else went on there and was like, there's literally a National Geographic entire episode dedicated to this, as well as a magazine article in National Geographic.
As well as historical records.
Right.
As well as.
That clearly says 100 to 160,000 people died and were buried on that island. So yeah, not 8. It's not bullshit.
Dumbass.
Yeah. I hate it when people
argue stupid shit.
Get on their soapbox about things they don't know anything about, especially when it's historical fact.
Right.
Like, and how do you come up with the number 8?
Literally.
When everybody else has 100 to 160,000.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, only 8.
She scared me.
Yeah.
She was going to bite me.
Yeah. Well,
she does that.
She does do that. Okay, well, that's it. That's all I have.
Need a cat bite. That just gave me a heart attack.
That's what I got. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Nice, short, and sweet.
Yeah, very short.
Very sweet.
Not sweet. Yeah, no, not light at all. Just send people to their certain deaths. All right, well, you can follow us on Instagram.
My favorite part was the grave diggers and the vampires.
They're like, decomposition who?
Right.
This guy's clearly going around and eating the others.
Right. Obviously, it's vampires, duh.
Right, see how that guy's skeletal and this guy's belly's full?
Right.
Duh, you can't argue with me about that.
No. And all these people are dead, but now we have all these fucking vampires. It's really an actual huge problem.
Yeah. That was like that one you did, that disturbing fact about the stones in the mouth, about the way that they buried those one people that were in Mexico.
The mummies in the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were even still alive.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are pretty
doubt if that was happening here too.
Brutal.
Yep. All right. Well, you can follow us on Instagram at That's Disturbing Podcast. Through our Instagram, there is a link tree that has a place you can send us an email if you want to drop a case request for us, either via email or Instagram DMs or comments. We're getting better. We're looking. You can also...
If you hate us, just turn us off and move on.
Yeah, if you hate us, just move on.
Yeah.
All right. That's all for us. Bye-bye.